Today on American Game Day, we're discussing Gridiron territory, Washington State versus number 6 USC game of the week, and the option at the end of the show. American Game Day starts right now! Yeah, today is Saturday, October 7th. It's October now. Hello, I'm Braden Slater, CEO of Busy Sports, and we've got a great show and lineup for you. This is American Game Day, our flagship show. Let's get started with our game of the week. Washington State and USC. Yeah, we got a ranked versus unranked team as a game of the week, and mostly because I put USC on upset alert because do not sleep on Washington State. The Pac-12 is filled with great teams, so look out for them. We'll discuss more of that game later in the show, but let's jump into my rankings, my top 6 teams. All right, do I have any changes this week? We're about to find out, but 1, I got Ohio State. 2, I got Alabama. I still got Georgia at 3. Utah, I moved them up to 6 with Oklahoma's loss. And Michigan and Tennessee still stay at the same spot, 4 and 5. How the AP changed? Well, they cannot make up their mind with 1 and 2. Alabama and Georgia switch once again. They're pretty decent on Ohio State. USC moves up to the 6th spot with Oklahoma's loss. And Michigan just the 4th spot, and Clemson just the 5th spot. Sorry about the confusion. It wasn't Oklahoma's loss in my ranking. It was Kentucky's loss. So Utah replaced Kentucky in my rankings, and USC replaced Oklahoma in that rankings. All right, time for headlines. All right, so once again, another Big 12 team stormed the field. It was against Oklahoma. Guess who did it? TCU. Yep, $50,000 fine. And yeah. Should they have really stored the field? I think they should have, but again, that injury with Diamond Harmon, it's on the field for about 10 minutes, and that was like towards the end of the game, very late in the game. So with them storing the field, it's kind of disrespecting Oklahoma, and I don't like it. I think this fine is very acceptable. All right, and Wisconsin fired their head coach. Yep, he averaged at least 9 wins a season, and they fired him. So, he didn't live up to the standard for Wisconsin. Makes me realize that, he isn't the one. Alright, but the thing is, he did a pretty good job, but he didn't win the games he was supposed to. I mean, notice how Wisconsin started the season, the last 3 years, ranked, and yet when the season ends, they were unranked. He did not meet expectations. And we also have another head coach getting fired, and also defensive coordinator. Add this to the list, Colorado fired their head coach and defensive coordinator. Yeah, Colorado has been at the bottom of the Pac-12 since they left the Big 12, and they are not standing for it. Should have happened 10 years ago. I think Colorado needs to change. And in fact, didn't they win the national championship like not too long ago in the Big 12? And since they joined the Pac-12, they really haven't been a team. Something tells me that it's something else, and it doesn't have to do with coaches. I think it's really more on recruiting side that no one wants to join Colorado. And got some injury updates. Bryce Young, questionable with the shoulder. I think he's likely going to be out this week. Dylan Gabriel with the concussion. He's questionable this week. He's out. Marcus Major. He's questionable. He's got his ankle. Well, we'll see. Again, that one's questionable, but Bryce Young and Dylan Gabriel, I think they're likely out. And Quinn Everett, they're saying he's back late October with a collarbone injury. And they said it's quite possible he could play this weekend. I think they're trying to throw Oklahoma off. I think he's out against Oklahoma this week. All right, it's now time for the game of the week. We got Washington State, number 6, Utah, 6:30 tonight on Fox. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I sure hope so. This will either be off the blowout for USC, or this game is going to come down to the last drive, the last play, the last second of the game until the clock hits 0. Now, I think it's going to be like that. I think USC's offense will show up. We'll see it, obviously. But the question is, Washington State's got the offense to do that. And this is going to be a true test. And I'm featuring this right now because it's going to give us the true answer of USC's defense. Can Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch put together the defense that they were meant to be back in Oklahoma that never was to happen? Now they got a second chance. We'll see how that goes. They got to, once again, rebuild the defense from scratch. It's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see how this one goes. But again, this is going to be a really big game for me. And quite honestly, I think USC's in trouble. That's the reason why I'm featuring this game. This might be USC's first loss. But I'm not giving you my prediction for this game quite yet. But I will say that, hint, USC is in trouble, is in upset alert. So, again, and you also notice that, like, I don't know, the beginning of the season, USC's games have always been on the Pac-12 network. I haven't been able to chance to see a USC game. I did see their last one last week, but again, that's the only one I was able to see, except for highlights. Alright? So, and really, just based off highlights, they don't look like the team that they were hyped about, that Lincoln Riley has done a great job at Oklahoma. Although, I really think that he didn't do so well at Oklahoma either. He made them worse. Alright, we got ourselves a new segment right now. It's called Cover. Yep, that's right. I got a new segment without telling you. Alright. We gotta test this out, hope this works, but I'm gonna see who's gonna go get the spread this week. Some unexpected pick you won't believe. Here we go. Let's roll right through it. I got Texas. They're favored by 5.5 points against Oklahoma. They're gonna cover. They're gonna win by more than 5.5. I'll tell you that. We'll still see the best of Oklahoma, but I think if Texas is still favored by 13.5, I would still pick Texas. Alright, next one. TCU, Kansas. This one was a tough one for me, but I think TCU's offense, definitely see TCU's offense go out on them, especially the running game. Look out for the running backs. TCU favored by 5.5. I'm going with LA on that one. TCU's going to cover. Next one may surprise you. We got Cincinnati and South Florida. Cincinnati favored by 27.5. South Florida will do their part. They will come close, but I still think Cincinnati will just get a touchdown enough to. I really think that South Florida will have it covered majority of the game, but I really think that Cincinnati will have a late game touchdown to cover in this ball game. Next up, we got Utah and UCLA. This is once again another tough one. Utah's favored by 3.5. So, if it was 4.5, I probably would have picked UCLA. That's how close it is. It's hard to tell. I just have a gut feeling it's gonna come down to a field goal. The winner of this game might win by a field goal, and I just think that Utah will have the edge in this game. Alright, now we got Northwestern, Wisconsin. This one is going to be a big upset you wouldn't expect. Wisconsin coming off fire head coach. Northwestern going to have a chance to beat them. Alright? Because Are we gonna see the best Wisconsin team we've seen yet, or the best Northwestern team that we've seen against Nebraska? I think we are gonna see the best Northwestern. They are going to cover. They are the underdog by 10.5 points. I think they're gonna fight. They probably won't win this game, but they will come close to taking down Wisconsin in this ball game. All right, Iowa State, Kansas State. This is another big game in the Big 12. Keep a close eye on these two teams, all right? Because you do not want to sleep on them. Again, in a couple minutes, I'm going to be discussing more about the games I just discussed. Anyway, keep a close eye on them, but I really think Kansas State may win by 1 point, but Iowa State will cover in this game. All right, I really think 2.5 points. They're thinking that, we're trying to figure out who's going to win by a field goal, aren't we? I mean, I've seen teams win by 1 or 2 points before because mixed extra points happen, safeties happen, all right? Next game, Washington State, USC. This is the reason why I have this the game of the week. You're going to find out who I have winning this game later on, but Washington State will cover this game. You're going to find out later in the option if I think I have Washington State winning this game or just end up covering. But they are the underdogs by 11.5 points. Alright, let's take a look at some conference schedules as we do weekly. Alright, so ACC, really no big games to notice, but some minor ones that can really shake up the conference. We got Louisville and Virginia, 11 o'clock, ACC Network, and then Virginia Tech and Pitt. My question is here, how can Pitt respond after losing to Georgia Tech, who just fired their head coach and athletic director? I really need to keep a list of how many head coaches, athletic directors, how many coaches overall have gotten fired, or staff. I mean, we've already had an athletic director at Georgia Tech get fired. So it'll be interesting to see how Pitt can respond after that. And next game, North Carolina, Miami. Now, this was expected to be a big game. This game still is. But before the season started, we were expecting this to be a ranked matchup. It's not, but they still have a chance at the ACC despite not doing so great in their non-conference. But 3 o'clock, ESPN2. Also, this one is a huge game in the ACC. Alright? How can Florida State bounce back with their loss, dropping out of their rankings after just being back in? And NC State, coming off of a wild game to Clemson, had a chance, couldn't pull it off. 7 o'clock on ESPN. Alright, East Carolina, Tulane, 2:30 ESPNU, American Conference re-roll. These are really the only games in the American Conference, so I gotta give you something here. I mean, I need to talk about them anyway, but I'll ask you a question here. Should I do the Sun Belt? I know the Fun Belt really hasn't, since the conference has started, they really haven't had that Fun Belt energy, but let me know if you want me to talk about the Sun Belt, alright? Because the American Conference is kind of starting to let me down now, because Cincinnati and Houston aren't living up to what they were last year. Alright, to the Big 12 we go. Just like North Carolina and Miami, this is a big game. Big hype game. Can't wait to see us in their conference. The Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma. But once again, we expect in the preseason that both these two teams were to be ranked. Texas, if they beat Alabama. 11 o'clock, ABC. It'll be interesting because we will very likely see backup quarterbacks against each other. And also, how can Oklahoma respond after having 2 back-to-back losses to Kansas State and TCU, the purple teams in the Big 12? Speaking of the purple team that they just lost to, TCU, Kansas, this is the Big 12 game of the week. 11 a.m. The FS1, really? This should be Fox Big Noon Saturday, whatever they call it. Anyway, the Jayhawks are hosting College Gameday and TCU. This is going to be a fun matchup. Can't wait to see this big, high-powered offensive teams. This will tell us, is Kansas legit? We saw their weakness against Iowa State. Iowa State didn't allow 0 points in the second half. Kansas was scoreless in the second half, in case you didn't notice. But Kansas won on a missed field goal. They should have lost that game. TCU got quite a running back. We're going to see how that matches up. Going to be a big, important game. Also, some notable games. The Big 12. We got Texas Tech trying to take off Oklahoma State. 7 ranked, 230. Also on FS1. Yeah, the Fox Big 12 once again not getting good media deals. And we got Kansas State, Iowa State. Can Iowa State, they almost took down the feel-good team Kansas. Can they do it to Kansas State? 6:30 ESPNU. Once again, Big 12 is getting ripped off on media deals with these big games. And the Big 10 we go. They're getting the deals they need. We got number 4, Michigan. We got Indiana, 11 o'clock. This is their big noon Saturday. Obviously, I know that Michigan is going to they're going to win by 50 points here. Probably not that much. They'll put up 50 points. How much will they win? Over 30 points. You quote me on that. Michigan will win by over 30 points. Purdue, though, in Maryland, that's going to be a low-scoring game with the Big Ten Network. I actually think that Purdue, coming off that big win in Minnesota last week, I think Purdue still got juice left in them. I think they'll come in, show up on the road, and find a way to win that game. To the Pac-12 we go. We got Utah, UCLA, 2:30, Fox. Ooh. This is going to be a poor game. I'm still, at the time of this recording, I'm still struggling on who I picked to win this game. These are really two good, powerful teams. I know at the beginning of the season, but that was at the beginning of the season, Utah was my favorite to win the Pac-12. UCLA looks really good. It's going to be hard to decide who's going to win that game. Both those teams look solid right now. Pac-12 we go. We got Oregon, Arizona. Another decent game, kind of. I already know. Excuse me. I already know that Oregon is going to show up. Their offense and defense is going to be dominating the whole way. Oregon's winning big there. The other Oregon team, Oregon State. I know they're going to show up to Stanford. I'm giving both Oregon teams winning in this week. To the SEC we go. This is an important game for Brian Kelly as we got number 8 Tennessee, number 25 LSU. Alright, can LSU knock off the top 10 ranked Tennessee? I almost said Tennessee Titans for some reason. Sorry, I'm in college football. I almost said that. Alright, 11 o'clock, ESPN. This is going to show us the true potential of the SEC, and can Tennessee look like a play? This is going to get our answer. Is Tennessee playoff worthy? We're going to find out next. Alright, Arkansas, 23, Mississippi State, another SEC feel-good team, just like Kentucky, but fell apart, and they're giving Ole Miss a shot. We'll talk about Ole Miss in a minute. But Arkansas, what happened to you? You were having such a great season last year. You came out of nowhere. This year, we expect you to do the same, but yet you were in the top 10, you fell apart. Now it's a chance for Arkansas to bounce back after an unexpected start to their conference season. And Mississippi State is having a blast. How can they do after beating number 1 recruiting class? I don't know. But we're about to find out if Mississippi State can take down a really good, talented Arkansas team. And is Mississippi State for real? We'll find out. And then we got the number 1 recruiting class versus number 1 Alabama. The media's most hyped game over the offseason, based for this one reason. And I predicted it, media predicted it, Nick Saban predicted it. I mean, they have the number 1 recruiting class not for a reason. Nope. Number one recruiting class, and they're not ranked. Wow. And yet they're playing against Alabama, who's number one right now, and saying that you can't buy your players. So, which team's buying their players, and are they doing a good job off of it? Yeah, we're going to check on that game later on tonight at 7 o'clock on CBS. We'll get our true answer on, should you buy your players or should you not? Should we do it the Jimbo Fisher way, the Nick Saban way? We're going to get our answer tonight. But we got the team that nearly took down Georgia until they had a late game fumble. Missouri gets going against a really high Florida in the season, but now looking like the team they were meant to be as a team that's rebuilding and getting better. And I think they just had a really strong game against Utah. Now we're going to get our true answer. If they could beat Florida and South Carolina, can they take down Kentucky? How can Kentucky bounce back after losing to Ole Miss? All right, now we got some NFL highlights for you. Protester, if you haven't seen it already. I can't show for specific reasons, the reason why the media can't show it. But Protester was hit by Rams Bobby Wagner, and he filed a police report for that. I think, and if a fan runs onto the field, you should be allowed, or NFL football players should be allowed to hit those fans because you're ruining their game. They want to have some fun, and as long as you don't kill that person or get them seriously injured, you should be allowed to tackle them. I think it was smart by him. If you saw that, that was hilarious, got me going, and it was really the only hype thing of the game. Alright, and if you haven't heard already, Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua had 2 concussions in 1 week. If you want to hear more about that, you can listen to my Slay Report podcast or Down Distance. I'm had a long discussion about those concussion injuries, head injuries, neck injuries, and the port to safety, player safety. You can listen to my Slay Report podcast or watch Down Distance and explain more about that. That's all I'm going to say about this because I don't want to bring everyone down because it's Saturday. It's game day. We need the energy, and I'm tired of talking about these players. Early this week, I was just talking about these player injuries. If you want to listen to it, go listen to my podcast. Alright, back to the fun stuff. NFL is in London, starting this week. I think they have 5 games in London every week, starting today. We got the Giants and the Packers first. Since they're playing in London, they're going to be early game on 8:30 a.m. on the NFL Network. I don't even have NFL Network. Yeah, good luck to those of you who can watch that. Alright, we got the Falcons and Tampa Bay at noon. This is our big game of the week for the NFL. It's on Fox. Also, keep a close eye on Dallas as they go and play the Los Angeles Rams at Fox. They won the Super Bowl last year. They do not look like a Super team this year. Dallas is, Cooper looks really good right now, and I think if they take down the Rams, I could say that Dallas is back. Do not sleep on the Dallas Cowboys anymore. Alright, let's check out what's going around the network. This will likely be the last time on this Saturday, on this show, you'll see this particular advertisement, because it's going to get an update for a new show, hint. But the Slay Report podcast every Monday, 6 o'clock, Down and Distance every Monday, 6 o'clock, and then we got Hot Seat first Monday of every month at 6:30, and then of course this show, flagship show, American Gameday, our pickup show, every Saturday, 10 a.m. We have a lot of fun at this show. Alright, I have a lot of fun recording these shows. And then, of course, if you haven't already, check out our website for your latest news, scores, stats, etc. If you want to know the latest news and anything, check out our website and the teams we cover. Alright, that's all what's going around the network here on Busy Sports. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on in the booth. We got Ole Miss this time, and boy, were they happy they won the game against Kentucky and getting that fumble. Wow, that's the best thing I've ever seen in the booth right there. That's hilarious. Alright, you know what time it is when you see that graphic. It's time for the joke of the week. Yeah, who we got this week? Oh, we got Ohio State. And this is a game I wouldn't think I would have to feature because Michigan State was ranked at the beginning of the season. But yet, they're not ranked now, and they are not going to be ranked anymore. I think we are likely. I'm predicting right now, quote me on this, before the season ends, Michigan State head coach will be fired. And of course, I know I always got the ranked team pick. You pick them up there every time. Ohio State's going to win this game. I have 5-0 right now. So far, no upsets. 3 o'clock. All right, it's time for the best segment on American Game Day. Our new graphic for the option. Who we got first? We've got Texas, Oklahoma. Oh my goodness, Oklahoma's going through a lot of injuries right now, so I got Texas winning this ball game, and there's no question about that. The question is, are we going to see the best Oklahoma? I think we will, but I still think Texas is going to win that game. They're going to show it just like they did to Alabama. Now I got Tennessee and LSU. Who's going to win this ball game? We're going to see the best LSU we could have seen yet to date. But Tennessee will find a way to finish. They're going to continue looking like a playoff team to win this game. Then we got, sticking with the SEC and the SEC Network, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Mike Leach got something going on down there. And you know for certain that he can get his team fired up and win that ball game, right? Yeah! Mississippi State is going to lose this game. It's going to cut down. I got Arkansas winning this game by a field goal. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State at 7. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. 2:30. It's going to show, can Oklahoma State battle, or not battle back, but keep the momentum going after beating Baylor? Yes, they can. I think we're going to see true Oklahoma State offense and defense in that game. Gonna go quick on this game because I already know number one recruiting class is gonna get an L on this game. Give Nick Saban that W right away. It's gonna be over at the end of the first quarter. Alright, next game is gonna be a back and forth battle all the way up into the third quarter. I think we're gonna see TCU, the TCU team that showed up against Oklahoma, we'll see them show up and find a way to pull it out in the fourth quarter and win by like 2 touchdowns. Put TCU on the W there, but don't be surprised if Kansas finds a way to battle in that. The Pac-12 we go, Utah, UCLA. I still am undecided here. This is going to be I think this is going to be a defensive game. It's going to be low scoring. Expect to be a low scoring game, but if I have to pick a team, I'm still sticking with Utah to win this game. Alright, this week's game of the week. Washington State, number 6, USC, 6:30 on Fox. This is going to be a fun game to watch and cannot miss game. Do not sleep. Do not go to bed early. This is not Pac-12 after dark, all right? Fox knows how to schedule their Pac-12 games somehow, some way. All right. Who am I going to pick this game? It's going to be a close back and forth game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than you expected. But USC, once again, I think it's going to be pretty similar to USC and Stanford, although I think we're going to see a little more offense than that. But I still think I got USC finding a way to win that game and winning it by a field goal. Yep, USC is going to win by a field goal in that game. Alright, I had a blast this episode and I enjoyed talking about our new segment cover. Hope you liked it. Anyway, thanks for watching American Game Day. See you next Saturday at 10 a.m. See you next week.